And our third decision was regarding an introduction of a one-time settlement scheme for waiver and reduction of penalties relating to motor vehicles tax, passenger and goods tax, and fitness fees. As you are aware, that there are many trucks and transporters who have been functioning and working in different sectors in the state, in different sectors. And in the past many years, say anything between 3 years to the last 20 years, there have been many of the different transporters and different vehicles and commercial vehicles who have not renewed their motor vehicles taxes, passengers goods taxes, and have not gone ahead with the fitness fees either. Now this was for multiple reasons. Somewhere the enforcement was not to the point where it should be. Somewhere the drivers themselves or the owners themselves of commercial vehicles, they did not take interest in actually renewing these. And after the different acts and laws that have come out from the central government, the fees for these kind of taxes are actually quite nominal, but the penalty that is charged on them for not renewing is something that is actually quite extreme, I should say. And just to give a small example to you, that the penalty for no fitness certificate, though the fitness certificate fees is about 1,200 rupees annually, the penalty for not having this is 50 rupees per day, which means if you don't renew it, you end up spending almost close to about 18,000 rupees just as penalty piling up. So you can imagine if there's a truck which has not renewed it for the last 20 years, you have almost close to 30 lakhs of fees that is that piles up for that particular 3 lakhs, I'm sorry, piles up for that particular driver or that particular vehicle owner. So the fees, though being rational, the penalties were something that were quite irrational, I should say, and that is an amount that's set up by the government of India. So in our basic calculation, we could see that if we just put the calculation of the penalties alone, especially when it comes to the penalties on no fitness certificate, the amount, if we were to calculate for all the trucks and vehicles, the amount would come up just of the penalties alone at about 900 crores. This is just a ballpark figure we have. And similarly, if you look at the figures for MV tax, it's about 21 crores. And if you look at the figures for 21 crores, and for the goods and passengers is about 5 crores. And as I said, if you look at the figures for the penalty, it's about 900 crores. So we realize that we need to ensure that a rational number comes out to allow these particular trucks and drivers and truck owners and commercial vehicles to actually sustain themselves, but at the same time also ensure that in the future all these commercial vehicles and truck owners are regular in their payments. And so keeping both these objectives in mind, and also keeping in mind that almost you can say 100% of these truck owners, drivers are all local people. They are all our own citizens. And therefore, if you're not able to find a solution to this, it will lead to a huge loss in terms of livelihood and financial stress for our own people. And a lot of them are poor people who have been using their vehicles for many years. And hence, we kept all of these factors in mind, and we came to a decision today that since the penalty figures which we saw, we felt were very high and they are notional numbers, and as I said, they've been just collecting for the last 20 years, we have decided in the cabinet that we will be exempting, as a one-time settlement, we'll be exempting 90% for the penalty for no fitness certificate. 90% will be exempted there. And for the MV tax and the goods and passengers tax, we will be exempting 80% from this in the one-time settlement, which will allow the different drivers and different commercial vehicle owners the at least the space to then be able to come back to normalcy and will not put financial stress and burden on them, and we will be able to then regularize and monitor the future registrations and future fitness certificates in a proper manner. So this is a huge a one-time settlement that we are doing for our transporters, keeping in mind that these are our people, our local people, and this kind of a stress would definitely lead to complete loss of livelihood and in a way a complete halt to the overall transportation system within the state, as I said, especially keeping in mind our local people being involved in it. Yeah. So this will be valid up to 31st of August 2026. So this one-time settlement issue, we will urge all the transporters and the owners and truck owners and drivers to immediately take advantage of this, so that they are able to clear all the pending dues, because now they have to pay only 10% of the penalty and only 20% of the MV tax and goods passengers tax. So we are hopeful that this will give a huge relief to the transport sector in our state. So these were the three main decisions that we took in the cabinet today.
How much the state will get after the rebate?
So as I said, close to about 850 crores is what we will be writing off, and we should expect about 120 to 150 crores coming in. But please remember that these numbers look like as if it's an amount that they have to pay. But please remember that this is majority, 900 crores of this is actually a penalty which is put every day for not having a fitness certificate. So suppose a person did not even know that he or she had to bring this fitness certificate. This number is accumulating every day. So 50 rupees, and suddenly after 1 month it's about 18,000. Then after suddenly about 2 months it's about 36,000. So the person doesn't even know that this number is accumulating. So this accumulated number is what I'm talking about. So suppose you owned a truck for 15 years and you didn't get a fitness certificate, the dues that you have to pay in terms of penalty would be in lakhs. So this is not like an amount that they have to pay to us, but it's an amount that is a penalty which has been piling on because of the rules and the laws that have been passed by Government of India, and this amount has been fixed by them, so it is automatically generated. But we have decided, as I said, to waive this off, because now if we go into details of all of this aspect, we would be really putting a lot of financial stress on our transporters, which would then impact them and maybe lead to closing down of many of the transporters at the same time, loss of many livelihood.
But why the officers did not collect, knowing well?
So it was both ways. So it was, yes, we have issues with manpower also. And this was again an issue that both governments, had been working on this. And this is an issue that is being faced, in fact, in a lot of states. And as I said, the numbers have been collected for the last 20 years now. So suddenly, suppose the rules came in and then you say now, those who don't have fitness certificate for the last 20 years, you have to pay this kind of a notional tax. So this is kind of almost like a transition phase where the new law is being implemented in a very aggressive manner. And this has, of course, now suddenly burst into a large number. And again, as I'm mentioning, it is not that this amount is due to us. It is more of a penalty, which is a notional number, which is collecting for the last 20 years for many cases. And in some cases, as I said, most people were not aware also that fitness certificate was required. So these are kind of challenges that are there. And of course, if we go into all of this, then, we'll keep looking at all the different reasons. We are here to find a solution and find a way forward. And we realize that the best way to do it is to get rid of this notional figure to some extent, and ensure that from now on, there will not be any more, everybody's going to stick to the rules and ensure that the fitness certificate as well as the MV tax and the goods and passengers tax is paid.